As the Midlands heats up, these temperatures aren't good news from our summer energy bills. Cooling is the biggest energy hog in homes and cars, according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration. But this morning, we are helping you make the most out of your home and your auto bills without breaking the bank. Joining us now is the Director of Public Affairs at AAA, Tiffany Wright. Tiffany, thank you so much for stopping by this morning.
No problem, no problem.
Well, as you know, we live in the famously hot city, right? So what are some ways that you can suggest to keep our homes cool without breaking the bank?
Okay, so I'm saying this for everybody out there, not for me, right? So, consider setting your thermostat at 78 degrees or higher if you can tolerate that, if that's comfortable for you, because you can save about, I would say, 10% when we're talking about cooling. And some older homes, they have attic fans. So if you're able to use attic fans, I would say, earlier in the day, later in the evening, that's going to help you. I would say maybe the biggest thing, because you're right, we live in the South and it's hot. Try to create some shade in your home. And what I mean by that, closing the blinds if you can, closing those curtains, keeping the sunlight out. Do that early in the day before the sun, gets bright, to create that shade, and try to keep that home as cool as possible, before those temperatures heat up.
What about this? So I heard that you could save money by running the dishwasher at like a certain time of the day, and then also not using your oven at certain times. So are these myths true?
When it comes to your dishwasher, consider running your dishwasher earlier in the day. Consider running them late at night. You did mention the oven, so spare that oven. An oven takes up a ton of energy, so consider firing up the grill. Take that cover off, fire up the grill, cook multiple meals if you can. That's going to help you save energy as well.
What about tips to the gas station? What can you provide for our viewers, and also where to find the best and cheapest gases out there?
Well, I can say what the good news is. Right now in the Carolinas, we're on the decline when it comes to gas prices. So gas prices have been, they've been trickling downward over the last couple of weeks following a busy Memorial Day holiday when they were kind of on the uptick. So that's the good news there. I would suggest there's a ton of apps out there. I mean, we have one at AAA. You can get on those apps, plan your route ahead of time so you can find the cheapest gas. We always say this, be a smart consumer at the pump, to buy cheap. Look for those, we're all getting the same gas, right? It's all coming from the same place. So we encourage you to buy cheap. It encourages other retailers to keep, their prices down and to stay on par.
And really quickly, what is the overall biggest takeaway that our viewers need to know about saving money?
There's a ton of things you can do. I mean, we just mentioned just a couple of them, about things that you can do in your home, things that you can do, with auto. I would say this, even with auto, even consider, when we're talking about running your AC, I know we're in the South and it might sound silly when I say, trying to conserve on the AC, but consider parking in the shade even. Just little things like that can go a long way.
I love it. Tiffany, thank you so much for stopping by this morning. And we're going to have all this information on the WLTX YouTube page, so you can always refer back to it.